citrus and Coke has an orange flavour to it. And I paused and I was like,
What?
does it? He's like, yeah, it has a hint of orange to it. Orange is one of the ingredients in Coca-Cola. And I paused and I'm like, wait, oh my God, is this why I don't like Coke? Because I was like, does normal cola have orange in it at all? And he's like, no, that's like, it's in Coke. And I'm like, are you shitting me?
So they swapped out cocaine for oranges?
Let me find out. Is there orange in
Surely not.
Coke? Orange is in Coca-Cola.
Damn.
Orange, coriander, and cinnamon.
What the fuck?
Those are 3 things that I don't like.
Okay, well, I
no
like
wonder
all
I
3
fucking
of them,
don't
but
like
that's not
Coke.
really what I expected inside of Coke.
Yeah. Yeah. That's... Okay, well, there you go. That's something that we learned. You're welcome.
Go random learning.
Woo! That's what we're here for, though.
Of course.
You are listening to Rent Free in My Head, the podcast where we take the thoughts that are squatting in our heads and help set them up with residence in yours, free of charge. Each week, Kirstyn is going to share the horrors of a true crime story with me.
And then Jeramie is going to mystify us with a mystery telling.
That I will. So, before we dive in, I have some things to share. Firstly, I have a confession to make because I got... Yes, you got me. I got called the fuck out. The other day, someone pointed something out to me, and it's time for me to come clean. So I have a little snippet for you from episode 1.
Oh.
But the most prolific, I was really worried I was going to say that word wrong, grower of avocados worldwide.
That's fine. Don't stress if you say a word wrong, because there's a lot of words that I say wrong on purpose. Received a message from a friend saying, dude, you flipped from don't stress if you say a word wrong to straight up dragging her for it every episode in the blink of an eye. And you know what? They're not wrong.
They're really not. Like, if you think about it, that's like the one time you're nice to me, and then the rest of the episodes you're like, fuck's sake, Cass, did you even Google how to say this? And I'm like...
Well, the thing is, I didn't even stay that way for that one episode. I literally, they're like, in the blink of an eye, you've just gone, don't stress if you say a word wrong too. What the fuck, Kirstyn? And you know what?
Oh my god. You're not sorry.
I regret nothing, and I refuse to change my ways. Can't stop, won't stop.
Well, thanks, friend. Appreciate you standing up for me. I'm going to take it as you standing up for me, even if you're not. But thanks!
I also am just going to put this out there. Firstly, we're recording a double today because I went and got sick last week. We're really behind. This episode is coming out the day after tomorrow, so that's fun. But, yeah, so because I was pretty sick, my voice might still be a little bit raspy or hoarse. Like, I'm fine, but my voice just keeps coming and going. I'm doing my best. I no longer feel like I've swallowed a ball of razor blades, so that's a plus.
Yummy.
But it is really funny because while I was sick, obviously I got a box of cold and flu meds, and I was trying to get into the box while I was really sick, and of course, you know how they have that little anti-tamper seal on it, like that I couldn't get through it. And as you know, I'm very short-tempered and very irritable at the best of times, let alone when I'm standing there like with a fever and not good, sick as a dog. So I may or may not have, emphasis on may, got really mad and literally just Hulk ripped the cardboard box apart to get to the pills. And
That's a sentence and a half.
yeah, I'm just like, what the fuck? Ripped it open, and I'm standing there and I'm like, what the fuck why do these stupid frickin' seals even exist? Like, what is the purpose of them? And I'm getting really mad. And then I remembered, I actually know exactly why they exist. And to be honest, I'm kind of really glad that they do. Do you know why they exist, Kirstyn?
Isn't it just to stop dickhead people from getting into them?
Well, you're going to find out later today exactly why they exist.
Oh, okay.
But before we get to that, do you have a tale for me?
I do. And super helpful that we're doing a double because my case that I'm going to tell you about now and my case that I'm going to tell you about later connect.
Mm-hmm. So handy for you and I, not so handy for the people listening because they have to wait a week.
Fucking sucks to be them. Not my problem.
Let me just make a guess here. It's an Australian woman.
Shockingly, no. It's about Americans.
That is... But it's a woman?
No, actually, no women in this. Well, there are women, but no lady
great.
murderers or crime. Oh my god, I just forgot the word for criminal. No criminals in this episode. No lady criminals. There's criminals, obviously.
I was going to say, there should be criminals, fuck.
Okay. There's no lady criminals in this episode.
Okay.
About
time
actually,
we
no.
let men take charge for once.
That's, no. I'm not, no. Just no. Actually, I lied as well. There is a lady criminal in here, but she's hardly mentioned.
Fucking hell. Stop lying to me.
I just like women, okay? Like, women.
Can't relate.
I know you can't. But anyway, and this is the case that my sister Cindy sent me and was like, bruh, this would be kind of cool for your podcast. So shout out to my sister Cindy for providing me with this. I don't think she expected me to cover it over 2 weeks, but it fucking sucks to be her. She needs to catch up anyway. So
maybe she'll refrain from calling you in the middle of recordings too.
Possibly. She has already called me today, so I don't think she will. Okay. But she did tell me that I was like, why are you taking so long to listen to them? And she's like, I'm at work. And I'm like, she's like, maybe I'll put it over the loudspeaker at work. She works in a pub.
Yes.
And I was like, fuck oath. Put it over the loudspeaker in the pub. Make everyone listen to it. But anyway. Okay, so we're going back to America. Again, I'm not obsessed with America. They just have a lot of crimes there because they're American.
My case...
Is it America?
It might be. I just decided that I'm not going to tell you.
Cool.
It might be somewhere.
Good job. All right,
It
well.
might be somewhere.
It might be somewhere. Maybe it's on Earth. Maybe it's not. Maybe Jeramie's going to tell me.
Space crimes.
Bum, bum, bum. Oh my god, I'm totally going to fucking do an astronaut crime. Fuck.
Wait, I don't do crimes. I do mysteries. Space mysteries.
I'm going to do space crimes. Let's do a space-themed episode.
Can the theme be that I need space from you and we don't talk?
No, because then we wouldn't have a podcast.
All right.
Really, it's just your own fault for choosing to do this with me.
I need an escape pod.
Well, you won't find one here, bitch. Alright, so we're going to... Oh, I forgot to look up how to say this, so I don't fucking care if I say it wrong. Merced.
Don't stress if you say something wrong.
Fuck you. Look, I'm like 99% sure it's pronounced Merced, or it could be Merced, but Merced just sounds stupid, so I'm going with Merced, okay? So, we're going to Merced, California, USA.
I'm not joining you in this chat.
Yeah, look, I was gonna stop. I don't really know why I was doing it. I don't like America that much. So, fun fact. This is my only fun fact about Merced, because I just didn't really care that much, and my case is kind of long. But every year they hold a Shakespeare fest. Ugh. Every year they hold a Shakespeare fest, which I just think is really fucking cool. Like, I'm not entirely sure
Yeah.
what exactly goes on there, but I'm imagining, like, the chick from 10 Things I Hate About You who's obsessed with Shakespeare and the guy she gets with at the end. Like, them, just, like, around the whole place, and everyone being like, lady doth not protest to a dance. Some shit like that, and then they dance or something.
I reckon everyone just stands there holding a spear and shakes them.
Oh my god. No. If they don't make that like a little cartoon on their fucking website, I swear to god, they are just missing a fucking opportunity here.
Honestly.
But yeah.
If they don't do it, we'll hold our own Shakespeare fest.
Yeah, for sure.
And y'all can come and
Everyone's
shake
invited,
some spears
and we'll just
with
have
us.
spears, and we'll just be like, yeah. But on to a more depressing
Brittany
note.
can come too and shake her thing.
Who?
Brittany.
Oh.
Spears.
No, I thought that's what you said, but like at first I thought you were like Whitney, and I was like, Whitney Houston's dead. What? And I was so confused. I was like,
It doesn't take much.
oh, wow. Wow. You're not wrong. But anyway, let's get depressy. So.
Yay!
Alright, so on December 4th, 1972, little 7-year-old Stephen Gregory Stainer was kidnapped on his way home from school. So there was this guy who pulled up and he was handing out like little what are they called? I didn't write gospel tract, which is just basically like a little Jesus leaflet. And he was going around handing them out to people. And then he pulled up against Stephen, or came up on Stephen, and he was like, hey, like, yay, Jesus. And Stephen's mum, Kay, I think was her name. Ironically enough, I didn't write that down. She was apparently a Mormon. So Stephen was like, oh yeah, my mum, she loves Jesus. She's a good lady. She'll for sure want to donate to whatever Jesus thing you're doing. And so Stephen was like, all right, bet. And then he was like, I'll go with you. And they were like, yeah, for sure. We'll drive you home to get donations from your mum. And Stephen was like,
Stranger danger.
yeah, apparently that wasn't a thing in the 70s.
But it should have been.
Yeah. Okay. So Stephen's thinking, oh yeah, great. They'll drive me home. I'll talk to mum, get a donation. This is such a good idea. So he gets in and they start driving. But then, instead of going to Stephen's house, they go to a cabin. So Stephen's like, oh, what the fuck? And he's like, all right, bet. So they get him inside, and on his very first night, he was molested. It did make sure to refer to it as molested, not raped. But it does escalate to rape within 13 days of his kidnapping. So, yeah.
So it's not a short stay.
No. Stephen pretty much comes on to be his kidnapper's sex slave. And it gets grosser because his kidnapper turns around to him and is like, hi, your name is now Dennis Gregory, and then the kidnapper's name, which is Parnell. Dennis Gregory Parnell, and you have to call me Dad. Yep.
Don't like that.
He also, so Parnell, so with the kidnappers, there's two technically, but Parnell is the one who wanted him. So we have Parnell, who convinced this guy named Irvin Murphy to help him kidnap a kid, because he was like, oh, I want to get them so that I can raise them in like a good Christian way or a good Jesus-y way. And Murphy was described as being very naive and simple-minded, so he was like, oh, okay, sure, and did it. So yeah, so he was the one who originally went up to Stephen and was like, hey, do you want to learn about Jesus or whatever? And then Parnell came and picked them up. So Murphy fucks off and he's not really a part of the story anymore. And you've got Parnell here. Yeah, literally. So you've got Parnell here who has decided that Stephen will now go by, what's his new name? Oh my god, Dennis. Sorry, my notes are all like scattered today. Cool. Now he's going to go by Dennis, but he keeps his middle name the same and changes his last name to his own last name. He also keeps his birth date the same and enrolls him in school.
Sounds smart.
Well, I mean, he had complete power over Stephen because he was raping him every single night. And I almost forgot to mention, Parnell told Stephen that he was now his legal guardian because his parents didn't want him anymore because there was too many children.
But how far away from where he was taken are they?
Basically the next town over. And also,
that's why I was saying it's not very smart that he kept the same date of birth and enrolled him in school.
It's even worse because you find out that the original place that Parnell took Stephen to was actually only like 800 meters up the road from his grandfather's house. Yeah. So he doesn't like take him and then immediately enroll him in school or anything like that. He takes him, kind of makes him his sex slave a bit. They do move around California a bit, but they're always I think they're always within like a few K of the original kidnapping place. But Parnell is raping Stephen every single night. He also encourages him to drink. So he's drinking alcohol a lot. And it, like, Stephen was so, like, I don't know, so scared and emotionally abused he didn't know what to do that Parnell would even leave him alone sometimes and Stephen wouldn't try and run away or escape or anything like that because he didn't know how to ask for help. He was like, I don't know what the fuck to do. Like, this guy has come and he's taken me and he's told me that my mom and dad don't want me anymore, that he's my legal guardian, so like I have to do what he says. He makes me call him dad. So like the kid is 7 when he was kidnapped.
Yeah, like that's a lot of trauma going on there. Like I get that. So definitely understand how Parnell has the power over him. It just doesn't sound like a very smart move on Parnell's behalf.
Yeah, look.
I mean, it's also not a very smart move to take a 7-year-old or take a child full stop. That's not smart. Don't do that. I know that's a hot take, but you heard it here first. Yeah. Don't take children.
True.
Just a thought.
Don't kidnap and molest and rape children. Jeramie, 2022.
We've been waiting for someone to
Someone needed to say it, and Jeramie has finally
And I finally did.
Oh my god. But yeah, as you can see, and also I am going to let you know that Stephen remains with Parnell for 7 years. Yeah. That just makes you feel really fucking good. There was a bright spot in that time where Parnell actually gave Stephen a puppy, which Stephen named Queenie. And, you know, it was his, like, little best friend and everything like that, so that was really sweet. The puppy was actually given to Parnell from his mum, Parnell's mum, who had no idea that he had kidnapped a 7-year-old boy. And I will continue to make this story even more disgusting, because when Stephen was around 9 years old, Parnell got a girlfriend. Her name was Barbara Matthias, and she actually lived with them for 18 months. She would later claim that she had no idea Stephen was a child that had been abducted. She legitimately thought that Steve, or Dennis, as he was named, was Parnell's son. And then she would also go on to rape Stephen 9 times. She also tried to help Parnell kidnap more kids, though it was unsuccessful. Yeah.
So she had no idea that this one kid that
It
was
gets
already in
worse.
his house had been kidnapped,
Mm-hmm.
but she was happy to help participate in attempting to kidnap others.
Yeah. It was unsuccessful, but also in one article that I read, she apparently had children and would let Parnell rape them.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, as Stephen got older and began puberty, his kidnapper was like, you know what, bestie? You're going to be my new wingman, my accomplice. So he tried to use him to kidnap other small children. These were all unsuccessful, and it would later come out that Stephen said that he would purposely sabotage these attempts so that Parnell could get another children.
Good.
However,
Always a however with you.
I know. That kind of changed one day when Stephen and his friend Randall Pullman kidnapped 5-year-old Timmy White in Ukiah on the 14th of February, 1980. By March 1st, 1980, while Parnell was at his security job, he obviously had left Stephen and Timmy at home alone. Stephen began feeling really, really bad about this because obviously Timmy was like fucking crying and being like, I want my mom, and
Fair.
decided that he was going to return Timmy to his house. However, because Timmy was fucking 5 years old, they really struggled to find his house.
Hang on. Apparently our Zoom meetings now have a time limit.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, this is new.
Since when?
When did this happen? This has to have been brand new. Starting today.
I wonder what happens in a minute 30. Does it just, like, kick us out?
It probably just ends, yeah. Hello. So, I'm just going to jump in here with kind of a TLDR version of the pure quality content that I just had to remove. Ultimately, Zoom did kick us out of the meeting, and then, because neither of us, thought to pause or maybe stop recording while we figured out what to do, I had about half an hour of us not speaking to each other, barely speaking at all, just messaging back and forth and a bunch of random noises while we tried to figure out what to do. So, that was fun to live through again. Ultimately, we did swap over to Skype, which neither of us really knew how to use, so I have left in some of us trying to figure that out before we resume Kirstyn's case, just because that was an experience. You're welcome. Back to the show, sorry.
I have 2 of you. Why do I have 2?
Oh my god, there's subtitles coming up down the bottom. Do you see them?
What? I don't see them.
Oh, I do.
I see what you mean. Also, it's
Yeah.
really zoomed up on my fucking face. Why are we like sitting on the steps? It's not even our bodies. It's just our like.
Hello.
Oh my god. What the fuck? Yeah, no, okay, I did that before, but I don't know what I've done. Oh, what the fuck am I doing? Oh god. I don't know how I got my profile up, but I want it to go away.
Oh.
Okay, I figured out how to turn sub. Okay, go. You need to leave, bestie.
Why do I need to leave?
No, you. Ooh, I figured it out. Okay. Ugh. Okay, I'll show you what. Your camera up the top isn't on for me, but you're in the balloons.
What? Oh, you're still in together mode, that's why.
What?
I left the balloons.
Oh.
I've gone back to normal.
Why are you not in the balloons anymore? I'm gonna take a photo of us in the balloons.
We can also actually use the chat so much easier on this. Why were we using Zoom? Zoom is dumb.
Yeah, fuck Zoom. This is so much cooler.
But I want to know how to flip my camera, for fuck's sake.
Why do you want to flip your camera?
Because my shirt's backwards.
Priorities.
Literally.
Priorities.
No, it's fine. I just got so used to it being... Actually, I think it was always this way in Zoom as well, to be honest.
Like, how the fuck did you leave together mode? No, I'm gonna take us on an airplane first.
Oh, hello.
Oh my god, I love this so much.
Why are we so tiny?
These are so dumb. Why the fuck were we using Zoom? These are fucking hilarious. Dude, we can go into a classroom. Oi! Hoi hoi! That's kind of cool. Oi, fuck bro, we were in a classroom.
And now we're, like, not.
In a business meeting situation.
Oh, I have the best one.
Is it the auditorium one? There's a Halo one, there's a Halo one, there's a Halo one, there's a Halo one, there's a Halo one. Oh my god, 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 oh my god. We're in Halo!
It's literally just...
This is the greatest thing ever. I'm also taking a picture of this one, so like, pose, bitch. Okay, how do I get out of this, Jeramie?
It doesn't warn you that I'm recording. And it's zoomed back out of you again, too.
Oh, what's gonna... Oh, Foxy Nerd reads perfectly for me. It's not backwards.
Does it? Okay, it's backwards for me. Alrighty. Well, where were we?
Start again, or are we just gonna...
Well, we have the Audacity recordings.
Okay, cool. I don't know what I told you last.
You said you were telling me about how Dennis and Randy Pullman.
Oh, Timmy
Rod
White.
Pullman.
Okay, I was up to Timmy White. Randall Pullman.
Yeah, Randy Pullman.
Poor man.
Oh,
His
that
name
makes
is
more
literally
sense.
Randy Poor Man.
That poor man.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was 15 years old and kidnapping a 5-year-old, so
That's true.
not that poor. So yeah, Stephen, aka Dennis, and Randall Pullman kidnapped 5-year-old Timmy White in Ukiah on February 14th, 1980. By March 1st, 1980, though, Stephen had felt really, really bad and wanted to return Timmy to his house, to his home. So while Parnell was at his Secchi job, Steve left the house with Timmy to try and take him home. However, because Timmy's fucking 5, he had no idea where his... What the fuck? Jesus.
I didn't know you could do that. Cool.
That's
Sorry, I was just
No.
messing with things.
That's fair, that's fair.
I also was not listening at all because I was like, oh, I can make beer appear on the screen. Ooh. Sorry.
So because Timmy's 5, he
Yeah.
obviously couldn't direct Stephen to his actual fucking house. So after a bit, they gave up and they went to the police station. So obviously they like pulled up into the police station. They were like, "Hey, this is little Timmy White who's been missing for like a couple of weeks. Hashtag I'm also Stephen Stainer, who's been missing for 7 years. What up?" And then so by March 2nd, so literally only a day later, both of the children were reunited with their families and it was all good. So Parnell was arrested. Why did I just go to say I arrested? What?
I don't know.
The fuck? Okay, whatever. So Parnell was arrested, and this is kind of annoying. So he got 8 years for the abduction and rape and sexual abuse of Stephen, and he only served 5 years of that.
Cool.
So just to reiterate, this fucker kidnapped and kept this kid for 7 years, raping him almost daily, and he served 5 years.
He served less time than the kid served under his...
And then Irvin Murphy, who was the guy who originally helped Parnell kidnap Stephen, served 2 out of the 5 years he was originally convicted for. Yeah.
Okay.
And I couldn't see anything about Barbara Mathias serving any time. Yeah.
Despite
raping a
her
9-year-old.
also raping a 9-year-old and helping attempt kidnap of other children.
Yeah.
And on top of that, just the straight up neglect of letting this fucker rape her children. Well,
yeah. I didn't say it was a good story this week. Damn.
It never is a good story with you.
So, now...
I thought my case was going to be a bitter pill to swallow, but alright.
That's okay. So, now that Stephen is back at home, he actually struggled a lot once he was home because when he was with Parnell, he could pretty much do whatever the fuck he wanted, come and go as he pleased. He was drinking, blah, 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 blah. Whereas obviously when he came back home, he could fucking do that. He also didn't receive...
He's also spent the past 7 years of his life thinking that these people didn't want him.
Yeah. So in one report it said that he received initial counselling. But then in another it said that he didn't receive any counselling because his, and I quote, dad didn't think he needed it.
What? Oh, right, because boys don't cry. Yeah. Boys don't suffer trauma.
So yeah, so he didn't get any counselling. And in an interview shortly after he escaped, Stephen is quoted as saying, "I returned almost a grown man, and yet my parents saw me at first as their 7-year-old son. After they stopped trying to teach me the fundamentals all over again, it got better. But why doesn't my dad hug me anymore? Everything has changed. Sometimes I blame myself. I don't know. Sometimes if I should have come home, would I have been better off if I didn't?" Yeah. So, he refused to disclose all the details of the sexual abuse he had endured. But
That
his
is
life
fair.
doesn't get much better for a little bit because he was bullied at school for being a rape victim. And that caused him to drop out of school and take up drinking again.
His story is not going to end anytime soon, is it? Because you said that this is a long one and it seems really soon for him to no longer be kidnapped and be back home and the story be over.
I think when I was thinking about it, I was also thinking about the other half of the case, which I decided to do in the next episode. So it wasn't just a whole bunch of sadness. So the entire story is long, but Stephen's part is almost over.
Okay, well that's something at least.
Yeah. So he dropped out of school, was drinking, and then he was also later kicked out of his family home, and his relationship with his father continued to be strained. Life did get a little bit better for him when, at age 20, he met and married his wife, Jodie Edmondson, and they had 2 children, Ashley and Stephen Jr. He also worked with abduction groups, and he would go around speaking to children about personal safety. So basically he worked hard to make sure that what happened to him didn't happen to other kids.
That's fair.
And yeah, he was a really big advocate about it. He gave even more interviews about his experience. And he was also involved in the mini-series about his abduction called I Know My First Name is Stephen. And it said that he was okay with the dramatization of it. He was actually he did a cameo in the movie. He plays one of the cops that are escorting the boys back to their parents on the day. He said that the only thing he didn't like about the movie was that he came up as rude and basically a little shit to his parents, and that just wasn't accurate. So,
Like,
Life is pretty
came
chill.
off as rude before he was kidnapped or after returning?
Pardon, what was that? It was all echoey.
So he came off as being rude to his parents before he was kidnapped or after being returned?
I think after. It didn't clarify too much. It just said that he was happy with the dramatization of his life except for that aspect. And
Okay.
considering the fact that he was kicked out of home, I'm assuming it's after.
Fair. That's fair.
So,
Which, I mean, they were also, like, probably trying to add to the story of he's 14 at this point. 14,
Yeah.
15 when he comes back. Most people are rude, arrogant little shits to their parents at that age.
But also, like, the
Whether
kid
they've
just
been
spent the
kidnapped
last
and gone
7
through that
years.
trauma or not.
Yeah, true. But also, like, as he said, like, he left as a 7-year-old and he came back as a grown-up.
Mm.
He wasn't a kid anymore. His childhood was stripped away from him.
Even if he came back as an 8-year-old, he would have come back as a grown-up because his childhood was stripped away from him within the first 13 days.
Exactly. So, can't really blame him. And to end this story, unfortunately, on the September 16th, 1989, Stephen was riding home from work on his motorcycle when his bike collided with a stalled car and he died from head injuries. 500 people attended his funeral, at which a now 14-year-old Timmy White served as a pallbearer. I know, that's like, oh. And
So not only was this kid's childhood taken away from him, his
He didn't really get to
life
live
ended
much either.
way too short.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he got married to his wife I didn't write it down, but I'm pretty sure it was 1985. So literally 4 years later, he died.
Oh.
Yeah. And just a quick update on Parnell, the piece of shit that kidnapped him.
Mm-hmm.
He died in prison in 2008, January 21st. Not because he was in prison for the kidnap and rape of Stephen, but because he was in prison for trying to purchase a 4-year-old boy.
But
Yeah.
they
But
are not for sale.
Apparently, in his eyes, they were.
But
My favorite thing, though, is that if he had have done a longer sentence, then that kid never would have been attempted to purchase, because Parnell should have been rotting away in prison for life
oh,
for
for sure.
kidnapping and raping someone for 7 years.
That's fucked.
But yeah.
These reactions could be handy if we do make the videos a thing for like you said if we make it because you know we're looking at drinking game rules. You said a thing, drink.
Just send a little drink emoji.
Because you can literally set any emoji as you react. So I got a wine glass. I have beer, which does that.
That's cute.
What's fire do? Oh, the screen is on fire.
That's rad.
We should write a porno about it.
But they already have. Okay, but like, what is this?
Alrighty. I feel we've gone a little bit off track.
What? Us? No way.
That doesn't sound like us. What are you talking about?
Never do that.
Remember when we were in the room with balloons?
That was fun.
Or when we were under the ocean? I liked when we were under the ocean.
Remember when we were in Halo?
That was gay.
Really
We've been on
fucking silly.
so many adventures today. It's real exciting. Do you want to go on another?
Yeah.
Okay.
To where? Can you actually tell me where now? Or, like, is that okay?
I will tell you where, but there's a game involved, which is why I realized why when I was like, oh, hang on. I'm not telling you where we're going. That ruins the game.
Oh.
So, this week I was originally planning to look into one of the more spoopy or paranormal mysteries on my list. But, as I mentioned, sickness happened and a change of plans ensued, as it always does with me. So, instead, I will be telling you about why, or I'll tell you the reason that all medication now has tamper-proof seals on it. Because that was not always the case. And, one specific set of events caused that to happen.
Ooh.
No, this is not a story that you are going to like. Just so you know.
Yay. So
You're welcome.
keen. I mean, like, I can't really judge. I literally just told you about a story where a kid gets raped and tortured for 7 years.
Yeah, I did not like your story, like, at all.
Yeah.
It was not good. Anyway, before we dive deeper into that, you know what we gotta do first?
Vocab lesson!
No, fun facts.
I was gonna say fun facts, and I changed it to vocab lesson. My gosh.
I don't have... kind of. I don't know. We'll see. So, on to the game. Let's see if you can guess where we are off to this week.
Oh, God.
It's a spot... How to describe it? Where the gin is cold, but the piano's hot.
Where the what is hot?
The piano.
How the fuck would the piano be hot?
It's just a noisy hall where there's a nightly brawl. And all that jazz.
Oh, fuck.
We're going to Chicago.
I was gonna
In case
say,
you didn't
are we
piece that
going to,
together.
like, I couldn't think of the word for Chicago, but I could think of the fucking musical.
Yeah.
Like, that's what popped in my
That's-
head, and I was like,
Funny that because those are lyrics from the opening song of Chicago. I couldn't help myself because I was like, how do I describe where we're going? And I'm like, well, I know how. So yes, we are off to Chicago, the Windy City. I don't actually know if they do actually call it that or not, but I've heard it called that.
I feel
Some
like I've
dope-
heard it called that before as well.
Yeah. I do know that some dope TV shows that I enjoy are set in Chicago, like ER, The Good Wife, and
Chicago
Shameless.
Med?
I haven't watched that one.
No,
I suppose Chicago Fire is probably there. Just a guess.
Maybe. It's a possibility. I don't know, though.
There's no way to know. Like, it's all up in the air. Your guess is as good as mine. Anyway, did you know that Chicago is home to the only river that flows backwards?
No. How does a river flow backwards? Like, it just goes that way instead of that way?
That's generally how backwards works, yes.
Fuck.
So, they used a reversal technique to divert the sewage away from the Lake Michigan water supply for sanitation reasons, which, like, fair. Tasty. I mean, sure, if you want to drink a glass of sewage, you do you. I'm not going to stop you. I'm going to judge you, but I judge you most of the time, so that's fine.
Yeah, literally, though.
What else is
Mr.
new?
Kirstyn can't pronounce words properly.
What else can I tell you about Chicago? Oh, so it was also the home of the 1982 Tylenol murders, which is what we'll be discussing this week.
Woo!
Woohoo! So, Tylenol is a US brand of analgesic and antipyretic with the key active ingredient being acetaminophen. I can see from your face that you completely follow what I just said.
For sure. I understood it completely.
Let me rephrase that just in case you didn't. Even though I'm sure that you did.
For the listeners, because
Yes.
I understood what was happening.
So, Tylenol is a US brand of drugs used for pain and fever relief, with the active ingredient being what we in Australia know as paracetamol. So, it's Panadol.
So it has nothing to do with anal?
No, analgesic is a pain reliever.
So I think that some
Maybe it's
people think
analgesic.
to do-
I don't
think
know.
It's analgesic.
An antipyretic is fever reduction.
So
Yeah,
Panadol.
it's Panadol.
All right, that makes sense. Panadol,
Yeah.
got you.
So it's American Panadol basically. On the morning of September 29th in 1982, 12-year-old Mary Kellerman woke up unwell and stayed home from school. A few minutes after her father gave her some Tylenol capsules for her symptoms, he heard her fall to the ground unconscious and, unfortunately, she died before reaching the hospital. That same day, Adam Janus, could be Adam Janus, it's Janus.
Janus.
Janus?
Sound like
Okay.
anus.
Sounds good. That same day, Adam Janus, a 27-year-old postal worker, felt like he was coming down with a cold and stayed home from work. While picking up his 2 children from preschool, he stopped and purchased some Tylenol. After having lunch, he said he would take 2 Tylenol and go lie down for a bit. Minutes later, he staggered back into the kitchen where he collapsed on the floor. His death was believed to be from cardiac failure at the time. That same afternoon, 27-year-old Mary Reiner took some Tylenol to ease the discomfort following the birth of her 4th child a week earlier. Her husband came home moments after she had fallen to the floor. That evening, the Janus family met at Adam's house to mourn and plan the funeral. Adam's younger brother, Stanley, who was 25, was suffering from chronic back pain and asked his 19-year-old wife, Teresa, if she could get him some Tylenol. She went into the other room and returned with 2 capsules for him and 2 for herself. They both took the Tylenol, and shortly after, they both were dead. Later that evening, 30-year-old single mother Mary McFarland, that's 3 Marys just for the record.
Oh, fuck me, I was gonna say, Jesus Christ, this is like a Mary spree?
Actually, there's a Mary in my case next week too, which for you is like later today, but...
There's no Marys in my cases.
Okay. Also, my sister's name is Mary, so...
I was just gonna say.
Yeah. Whoops. 30-year-old single mother Mary McFarland told co-workers at the store she worked in that she felt a headache coming on. She went into the back room to take some Tylenol, and shortly after, to the horror of her co-workers...
She died! Sorry, that was
Yes, she
exciting.
fell to the floor. That night, after landing in Chicago, 35-year-old flight attendant Paula Prince purchased some Tylenol on her way home. 2 days later, after missing dinner with her sister and not showing up to her flight back out, she was found dead in her apartment with an open bottle of Tylenol on the bathroom counter. I'm done with the deaths. That's it.
We're good now. So how
Yeah.
many deaths was that in total?
So we have 7 victims. That's 7 deaths, basically all on the same day. Completely unrelated. There's no way to connect them all. They have nothing
So for the
in
fact that
common.
they all took Panadol.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. Your prize is that I continue this story after
Yay!
after I take a drink.
Damn, he's so good at this prize thing.
I could be your prize if you want.
I thought you were Mateo's prize.
I'm everyone's prize. So, naturally, it raised a lot of concern that 3 people from the same family had died mysteriously in the same day in the same house. And an investigation ensued. Nick Pichos?
Shoshi.
Nick, an investigator with the medical examiner's office, and Helen Jensen, a nurse at the hospital, which I'm not sure why she was involved, but she was. She was just there. Just decided to tag along, I guess. And
She's
the
like,
police.
Hey, besties.
We're going on an investigation. Count me in. So yeah, investigator Nick, nurse Jensen, and the police went to the house expecting to find like just an immediately blaringly obvious reason why 3 people had just dropped dead in this house, but nothing jumped out at them. And then it also kind of begged the question, well, hang on. They weren't the only people in this house because Adam's kids and his wife were in the house. And then the rest of Adam's family were there that night too, but it was only these 3 people that died. So what were they exposed to that no one else was? Having spoken to Adam Janus's wife, who, for the record, was also named Teresa, by the way, maybe those brothers just had like some weird specific type. Maybe they made like a Teresa pact as kids. If you marry a Teresa, I'll marry a Teresa. Who knows? Anyway, Nurse Jensen had spoken to his wife Teresa at the hospital, and because of this, she knew that all 3 had taken some Tylenol. So she was like, okay, bet. Went and found the bottle that had 6 capsules missing from it and took it back with her to the hospital. She was just like, okay, this is mine. Thank you. Goodbye. Totally how an investigation works.
For sure. This sounds so real.
From the report that I read, she put the bottle down and declared it to be the cause, but the others said it couldn't be and that all signs pointed to cyanide, they just couldn't find an exposure source. Shock horror, the others were all men. Why would they listen to a woman speak? They don't have anything important to say. So, eventually, out of frustration and out of other options, they were like, let's humour her idea, sure. And investigator Nick remembered the other sudden mysterious death he'd been called out to earlier that day. Mary Kellerman's. She had also taken Tylenol, and for some reason the bottle had been inventoried by the paramedics, so he had it brought to the hospital, and they found that both bottles had the same batch or control number, and they were like, hey, we may actually be onto something. Hold the phone. Well, he would have to hold the phone because he was on the phone. I didn't realise that was my next sentence. So he was on the phone and holding the phone to Deputy Medical Examiner Ed Donahue at the time. And Ed was like, yo, smell the bottles. And Inspector Nick was like, wait, what? You smell the bottles.
Why the fuck do I have to smell it, bitch? I want to smell if it's rank.
That's weird. You smell the bottles. And Ed's like, well, I'm not there, homie. You gotta sniff the bottles. You know,
bestie, you're the one holding the fucking bottle, so sniff it.
Take it in, give it a big whiff, and Nick's like, nah, don't want to do that. But Ed's like, actually, mate, I double dog dare you. Now you have to do it.
Double dog dare means he has to do it as well. Have you never played double dog dare? What the fuck's wrong with you? But also, can we talk about how a customer was returning something to me on Friday? And I was like, oh, why are you returning it? It just doesn't, like, it's not suitable. And she's like, no, it smells really bad. Like, smell it. And I was like,
no, thank you.
I was like, nah, I'm good, fam. Like, I trust you. And she's like, no, like, smell it. And I was like, I'm good.
But why is it though that, like, when you say that something smells bad, you hold it out to someone, you're like, oh, this smells, smell it.
Literally,
and automatic. Every time someone does that to me, they preface it with, this smells bad, smell it. Okay. And I do. And then I'm not,
okay, look, I'm not gonna lie. after she left and I was taking out the back, I did smell it.
Yeah. Same as when you're like,
It didn't even
"Oh,
smell that
this-
bad though.
this tastes awful. Have a bite."
Yeah, literally though. But like, it didn't even really smell. It just kind of smelled like plastic, and I was like,
Anyway, he's like, "Mate, I fucking dare ya. Give it a whiff. Just come on. Cop a sniff of that sweet scent." I don't know. Eventually, Inspector Nick was like, "Okay, well, if you dare me, I kind of have to do it. Like, I ain't no pussy. I'm not gonna chicken out. I'll give it a whiff." And he opens the bottle and he shoves his nose in and takes a big deep breath. And you know what he smelled? It smelled strongly of almonds, bitter almonds. So
what do almonds smell like?
I alluded to this a couple of weeks ago when you covered Mary Rendell, and I asked if their food smelled like almonds.
Oh yeah.
So I take that to mean that you don't know what smells like almonds.
Cyanide, apparently.
Correct. Cyanide to somewhere between 60 and 80% of the population, at least.
But I'm also just saying almonds also smell like almonds.
Yeah, I mean, I actually have almonds in my cupboard
What
that
do
I could
they
go smell
smell
if you
like,
want to know
though?
what they smell like.
I do. I want to know
Alright,
what they
hold
smell
up.
like.
Let me
Go
go
get
find
them.
out. I'm going to take the opportunity to pee while I'm at it.
That's fair. You have the bladder of a pregnant woman.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the Audacity recording, and you have the audacity to come at me with that shit when we're 2 hours in, and this is the first time I've said I need to go?
I'm actually very proud of you. I expected it earlier.
Thank you. Whoop, forgot the almonds.
That's embarrassing.
Need those. Where are they? Oh, lost the almonds. Oh, they're behind the soup. They were behind the soup, which is like a super normal place to keep your almonds.
I wouldn't know I don't eat almonds.
Okay.
I am eating a pistachio at the moment, though.
It's fucking nuts, mate.
I looked up and I had a jar of them in here. So I was like, Alright, what does an almond smell like?
I can't smell anything, so maybe I'm part of the 20 to 40% of people that don't carry the gene that allows you to detect the odor of cyanide, because if it smells like almonds, I don't know what almonds smell like.
This is awkward.
They taste good, though.
What do almonds taste like?
Kind of nutty. Oh, I can kind of smell. It's a very faint scent. I don't know how to describe it.
How else am I supposed to know whether someone's trying to just kill me with cyanide, Jeramie? If you don't describe how to smell... What? How almonds smell?
What do almonds smell like? Sweet almonds smell primarily of benzaldehyde, which most people associate with the aroma of cherries. So almonds smell like cherries?
The fuck do cherries smell like?
I don't know. Almonds!
Catch me in Coles smelling cherries and almonds.
Just sniffing fruit. And nuts. Oh yeah, you love
Coles
sniffing
employee.
nuts.
Coles employee's like, what you doing there, fam? Like, oh, just trying to sniff almonds, see if they smell like cyanide.
Just felt like sniffing some nuts today.
Didn't have any other ones on hand.
Anyway, so yeah, as I was saying, I may not be one of those people that can smell cyanide apparently, because
Yeah, so
I
what
can't
he's
even
basically
smell
saying
almonds.
is that if you want to kill Jeramie with cyanide, he's not going to be able to detect it, so fucking go for it.
It's fine. But anyway, so I was looking into cyanide, as you do. Just your everyday normal Google search.
For sure.
For me, at least. Mate, my Google searches are so fucking strange because I just have random questions that I need to know. Like, what was it? Oh, there was once that we were I don't remember. I don't think you were there that day. I think it was Nerd Squad, but for some reason making bread with your own yeast came up. And then some
it?
Yeah, you can.
Sure. Yeah, I was going to say
People do it. But what I ended up Googling was because someone was like, "Oh, could you use your own milk as an ingredient too?"
Surely.
And I was like, "Oh, that's a good question. Does bread contain milk?"
No.
It does not. No. So you can't make milk. You can't make bread with your own breast milk. But then I was like, "Well, what
But you
can
can
you
make
make?"
a cake with your
Yeah, I
own
was like,
breast
"What
milk.
can you make with your breast milk?" And then I think that same night I Googled vaginal piercings so that we could find out like what different kinds there were. Something about whether horses fart, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was, do horses fart?
Well, I feel like everyone's farts.
I Google random shit. You were here on the Zoom call with me the time that I searched desert balls, so... And is there a patron saint of pooping?
Wait. You're talking about desert balls, right? Those wispy things?
Tumbleweeds, which we renamed desert balls,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, no. So, I forgot to tell you. Cindy said she saw one.
Oh, yeah, because she
saw
lives in the
a
middle of
real-
bumfuck nowhere.
Yeah, she lives in buttfuck nowhere. But, like, she saw one. Because she called me and she was like, "Bruh, I have something to tell you." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I bet. What is it?" And she was like, "I saw one of those desert ball things that you were talking about on the show." And I was like, "What? I've never seen one." And she was like, "Yeah, it was so random." And she was like, I can't remember where she was. I think she said she was in a car or something. And she saw it and she was like, "I have to tell Kirstyn because they talked about it on the show."
Yeah. That's so cool. I want to see a desert ball.
I'm a little bit jealous. I want to see a desert ball. Do you think it'd be hard to catch it?
I'm just really concerned that now that we've declared that, we're opening our DMs to some very concerning images. We don't want to see your desert balls.
Send me your desert balls.
The dustier the better.
Yummy.
So, anyway, as you do, I was looking into cyanide and I ended up on the CDC website, just kind of looking at facts about cyanide. And I had a moment of panic because my eyes just skimmed over the following, didn't actually fully read it. You could be exposed to cyanide by breathing air, drinking water, eating food. And I'm like, oh my god, what? I do all of those things often. Like,
You would have to have cyanide in it, you sped?
and then I kept reading and it said, or touching soil that contains cyanide. And I was like, oh, okay, never mind, I'm safe. It's all good. It's fine. But
You concern me sometimes.
I concern me all the time.
That's weird.
Anytime I write a letter to say to whom it concerns, which is so often, you know, to whomever it concerns, it's usually me that it concerns because I'm just always concerned.
Fair.
But I can tell you, it is quite likely that at some point in time over your life, you have had cyanide in your system.
Oh yeah, didn't I tell you I'm drinking it right now?
Oh, cute! So, the seeds and pit, cyanide is in a lot of things. The most common way that it ends up in the human body is via cigarettes. But... You good?
Okay, quick story about cigarettes.
Okay.
So on the weekend, I went to a hens night, right? And in the group I was with, there was a smoker. And I don't remember how, because I got pretty trashed, I'm not going to lie to you.
Fair.
But at one point, I was given a cigarette and I didn't have a bin. So I put it out and then put it in my handbag because I didn't want to litter. So this was on Saturday night, right? Sunday, when I was leaving my lizard's house, and because I smelled cigarette, and I was like, oh, whatever, and I didn't think anything of it, went home. Next day, I'm out to lunch with my sister, and I opened up my bag, and I was like, fuck me, it smells like cigarette. What the actual fuck? I look in there. The fucking cigarette was still in there, and I've just realised I never fucking took it out, so it's still sitting in my handbag.
Throw the whole handbag out. Throw the whole handbag out.
No, I can't. It's so cute.
It is going to stink like that forever.
I don't
Unless
care.
it's one that you can, like, wash. Is there any way you can wash the thing?
No, I cannot wash it.
Then
I might be able
throw
to.
it in the bin.
I can see. No, I'm not fucking throwing it out. I love this handbag so much. I'm gonna try and see if I can take the lining out and hand wash the lining. But I just realized that I never removed it and it's still fucking in there, and I hate myself. But yeah.
But anyway, so while that may be the most common way for cyanide to enter the human body, it's not the only way. It's actually found naturally too. Ooh. So sometimes your body technically makes it. So the seeds and pits of a lot of fruit, such as peaches, cherries, and apples, contain a compound called amygdalin, which, when ingested, breaks down into hydrogen cyanide. So, fun little story relating to that fact. I remembered while writing these notes that one time Sunshine was eating cherries and accidentally swallowed one of the seeds, which I cannot fucking tell you how many times that has occurred, honestly. Like, I feel like just about every time she eats cherries, she'll have, like, a lot of them, and I'm like, and then later that day, she's like, so I shouldn't have eaten all those cherries? And, like, literally every single time she swallows at least one seed. And girl loves cherries, so she has them a lot, but she still hasn't figured out, hey, maybe don't eat the seed.
Maybe she really just wants to create her own cyanide, Jeramie. Why are you judging her?
Anyway, so she accidentally swallowed a seed and she immediately messaged me. She's like, I just swallowed a cherry seed. Am I going to die? And me being, you know, the lovely, supportive friend that I am, I immediately responded with, yes. Waited for her to read the message and then followed it up with, I mean, everyone is at some point. And, like, she laughed and was like, no, but actually. I'm like, nah, you'll be fine. And she's like, oh, okay, cool. Then I jumped in with, by the way, cherry seeds contain cyanide, for the record, XOXO. Peace emoji.
Such a little shit.
And just left it at that, and she freaked the fuck out. Because, well, it's Sunshine. I mean, she wasn't quite Emily about it, but she did really panic. But it's okay, because accidental ingestion of a few seeds here and there is pretty much harmless. So it's been deemed that a 150-pound person, or 68 kilograms, can safely consume 703 milligrams of hydrogen cyanide, and 200 cherry seeds contains a measly 117 milligrams. And if I'm entirely honest, if you're ingesting 200 cherry seeds, I feel like cyanide is the least of your problems.
Yeah, Jesus.
Like, you got issues, dude. Don't eat 200 cherry seeds.
It's so dramatic.
Well, so they tested the capsules and got back the results, and they found that the capsules contained 100 to 1,000 times the lethal dose of cyanide.
Damn.
So, one pill could have had enough in it to kill between 100 and 1,000 people. So, these people stood no fucking chance.
Yeah, fuck that. There was no way they were gonna die. There was no way they were gonna live even if they did get ambulance or something.
No, yeah. And, like, in most of the cases, it was that paramedics came, but by the time they reached the hospital, they were already gone.
Yeah, it was like that first girl.
Yeah, because cyanide basically asphyxiates you.
That's like in the spy movies and everything like that, isn't it? A cyanide tooth tablet that they have?
Yeah.
And they crack it into their mouth, and that's the quick way to kill yourself?
Pretty much, yeah, because it's it doesn't sound like it's pleasant either, because it basically asphyxiates you, so you just plain can't breathe. But so yeah, they found that, and they got Johnson & Johnson, which is the parent company of Tylenol, involved. And I will actually say this case is an example of what a company should do and how they should handle this kind of situation. So, obviously they didn't want to, but Johnson & Johnson issued a national recall as well as a warning to everyone about the capsules.
Yeah.
So, it was all over the news, it was everywhere. Hey, there's been deaths because of Tylenol. There were police cars going down the streets with megaphones going, "Don't take the Tylenol.
Mm-hmm. You're
Don't take the
die.
Tylenol." And so they did that, and they even went as far as to offer to replace purchased capsules with solid tablets, because they were obviously less likely to be tampered with. But also people take capsules or tablets based on preference of swallowing.
Capsules.
I don't like tablet. I don't like the pills without the coating, because they turn to powder on your tongue.
And they taste
It's
so
nasty.
fucking gross.
Yeah.
I like Nurofen because it's coated in that sugary shit, so it tastes nice when it's going in.
It tastes nice when it's going in.
Just coat more things in sugar.
Wow, you really do love America. Deep fryer it or sugar coat it. That's the American way. But yeah, so they recalled 31 million bottles, which was valued at over $100 million US, approximately $298 million US today. So yeah, they took quite a hit by doing this recall, but they did it.
Oh yeah, well, but realistically, that's a really smart business move, because can you imagine if they didn't do it, more people died, then everyone would be like, "Fuck you." Was it Johnson & Johnson?
Yes.
Fuck you, Johnson & Johnson. You didn't care about people. We're going to all boycott you and we're going to shop for you again. Whereas now that they've done this, people are like, Johnson & Johnson, bro. You can trust those motherfuckers. They're good drug dealers.
Well, it's worth noting that prior to this, hang on, where's the button? How do I do we just learned how to do this.
I'm also out of alcohol. I literally just sipped the last bit.
Do you need to go get toppy uppies?
How much longer do you have in your case?
2 pages.
Jesus Christ, okay.
Go get toppy uppies.
I'll be back.
I'll wait. Okay. So, where was... yes. So, yeah, they did this recall, and it's worth noting that prior to the recall, Tylenol had a 35% hold on the market, right? Of the pain relief market. Damn. Within a week, they had dropped down to an 8% hold.
Oh, shit.
However, clearly, Johnson & Johnson made the right move, because Tylenol is still, the most, top tier name.
It's Panadol.
Of Panadol. So it's still held its place. So it clearly... You still hear about Tylenol today, meaning they didn't go out of business because of it. So, yeah, they did the right thing. Anyway, following this recall, it eventually became clear that the tampering had occurred after being distributed by the manufacturer, not at the hands of the manufacturer.
Oh.
So... They got all of these bottles and they were testing them, and more than 50 laced pills were found in 8 different bottles. 5 from the homes of the victims, 2 from customer returns in Chicago, and 1 still on the shelf available for purchase in Chicago. So, given that they only found laced pills in the Chicago area, and the fact that cyanide would actually over time eat through the capsule casing, it was deduced that whoever laced the pills had to have done so recently. The lead theory was that someone in the Chicago area at the time had purchased several bottles of Tylenol, opened the capsules and tipped out the actual paracetamol, replaced it with cyanide, and then gone to multiple stores and placed those bottles back on the shelf for someone else to purchase. So...
That's commitment.
Yeah, it doesn't even seem like there was a specific target in mind. It just seems like the only goal was pure chaos. Like...
Just wanted to fuck with a whole bunch of people that were Jesus Christ.
It was spilling.
Okay, bestie. Sure.
But yeah, pretty much. They just wanted people dead and they didn't care who.
I feel like there's... I was going to say there's easier ways to do it.
I mean, they didn't really have to do
exist.
much.
True.
So, following these deaths, the tamper-proof seal was created because Johnson & Johnson were like, okay, guys, we need a way to come back from this. So they were like, hey, all right, instead of just selling you bottles where you take the lid off and there's just a cotton bud taking up the empty space, we will sell these bottles that have the child-proof lids, and then when you open them, there's also some foil that you have to remove so that you know...
if someone's touched it or not.
Yeah. So yeah, that came to be shortly after this, and it was basically rolled out across all packaging of over-the-counter drugs, which it looks like that's also gone worldwide because we have it too. Yeah. And it also led to the release of the caplet, which is somewhere between a pill and a capsule. So it is still the tamper-proof pill. It just has gelatinous coating around it to make it easier to swallow, like a capsule does.
Yeah.
You just can't open it up like a capsule.
Which is, like, really fun to do, I'm just saying.
Where were you in September of 1982?
My dad's ball sack.
Sounds like a fun place to be. I don't know why I just said that. My face as I was saying it, I was like, stop talking, stop talking, stop talking.
What?
Are there any vacancies? Are they hiring?
I mean, he's currently single, Jeramie, but you're not, so... He's also not gay, so...
I'm also not capable of, like, climbing into someone's ball sack, so...
I don't think you'd fit. Okay, can we stop talking about my dad's ball sack?
So, obviously, just like everything else that I cover, this is unsolved. And we don't know who did it. And obviously, like, a lot of people were investigated and considered suspects. But there is one suspicious character who, for the record, is still the main suspect to this day.
It's so weird that this hasn't been solved yet, though. Like, come on.
That I'm going to tell you about before wrapping this up, because I can't not, because it's just... Yeah.
He fucking did it.
Remember how I asked you if your seatbelt was secured earlier? Please make sure that it is and keep all hands and feet inside the vehicle because, oh girl, we in for a ride. So a week after the deaths, on October 6th, Johnson & Johnson received the following letter. I don't know if it was written in all caps, but the site that I grabbed it from had it in all caps, which kind of makes me want to yell it. I'm not going to.
Thank you.
But just picture this all in caps.
Okay.
Sorry, I need to get into quote voice.
Put your accent on.
Gentlemen, as you can see, it is easy to place cyanide, both potassium and sodium, into capsules sitting on store shelves. And since the cyanide is inside the gelatin, it is easy to get buyers to swallow the bitter pill. Another beauty is that cyanide operates quickly. It takes so very little, and there will be no time to take countermeasures. If you don't mind the publicity of these little capsules, then do nothing. So far, I have spent less than $50, and it takes me less than 10 minutes per bottle. If you want to stop the killing... If you want to stop the killing, then wire $1 million to bank account number... beep at Continental Illinois Bank, Chicago, Illinois. Don't attempt to involve the FBI or local Chicago authorities with this letter. A couple of phone calls by me will undo anything you can possibly do.
I'm sorry, this person wasn't arrested.
I didn't say that.
So he what? What?
So they received this letter. That's all that we've gone over so far. Calm your farm. Get all your horses in a row and make sure that they are stable.
It's ducks.
Ducks don't live in a stable.
Oh, how do you know? Have you never seen Charlotte's Web? There's a duck in that movie, right?
It's a farm, so it's quite likely, but I'm pretty sure that took place in a pigsty, seeing as it's a pig.
Charlotte's
a spider, but there's a
fucking
pig.
Spider. You're thinking of Babe. I also was thinking of Babe, but Charlotte is a spider, you weirdo.
Charlotte is a spider, but Charlotte lives, like, near a pig.
I don't remember. All I remember about the movie is that Charlotte is a spider and Dakota Fanning or something's in it.
Anyway. So, the FBI lifted fingerprints from the letter, and these fingerprints led back to a man named James William Lewis, a former resident of Chicago, having recently moved to New York. And when I say recently, I mean like past couple weeks. So, it's worth noting, though, that the bank details included in the letter were not those of Lewis's. That didn't make sense. Were not those of Lewis, but instead of a former employer of his wife's. So, the employer had issued his wife a final paycheck when the company went under of $511.83. This check bounced, and Lewis's plan was that in the process of investigating this man, the FBI would realize, homie has nothing to do with these poisonings, but hang on, we've uncovered some other wrongdoings of his, and that would be successful. So basically, he wrote this extortion letter framing another man over $511.83, which is not that much money. And I did the inflation calculator, of course. It only comes to $15.24.90 today, which still isn't really that much.
$15?
No, $1,524.
Oh, I was like,
$1,524.90.
I just don't know if I'd go to that much effort over $15,000. Like, I'd probably harm the person. But
it's not even $15,000. It's $1,500.
Oh right, yeah, $1,000.
Yeah, So ultimately, Lewis was arrested, tried, and convicted for attempted extortion, and he was sentenced to 10 years in prison for that. But there was unfortunately not enough evidence to tie him to the poisoning. So they can't determine if he did actually do it or if he just took advantage of it to try and
fuck with him.
to try and get his vengeance on Homie.
No.
But, so I'm nearly done. I just have some fun information that's worth noting about James William Lewis as a person. So, at age 19, he reportedly chased his mother with an axe.
Oh.
As you do.
Just a fun family activity.
Just a fun day out for all involved.
Fuck me.
And he was also charged at this same age with assault after breaking several of his stepfather's ribs.
Doing what?
Beating him.
How old was he?
19! I just said at age 19. Do you know how old you are at age 19? It's 19.
That's my bad.
He overdosed on 36 Anacin pills, which is another analgesic. That's all I know about it. Because I was like, the fuck is Anacin? Googled it, and it was like, it's an analgesic. And I'm like, oh, okay, good to know.
Sure, it's not an analgesic?
It might be. Who knows? And was committed to Missouri State Mental Hospital with a diagnosis of catatonic schizophrenia. However, he later just brushed these events off as an elaborate plan he and his family... It was just an elaborate plan that he and his family had hatched to help him avoid being drafted for the war.
Oh my god, what the fuck, people?
You know what, son? You know what would get you out of having to go to war? Just chase me around with an axe for the day. Sounds like fun to me. Gets our cardio in. Maybe throw in a suicide attempt.
But, like, what if he ends up liking chasing women around with an axe? Like,
I don't think...
babe. Did you really think that through?
I highly doubt it was actually the case.
No,
it's
I know,
just
but I'm
what
just
he
saying, like,
brushed
come
it
on.
off as. So, there was that. And then in late 1981, he and his wife moved from Missouri to Chicago, taking only what they could fit in their car because it was a last-minute move. Do you want to know why it was a last-minute move?
I fucking probably did something batshit crazy, like chase someone with an axe.
It was following his bungled trial for a capital murder charge.
What the fuck?
Yeah. He was suspected of having murdered a close friend for money that he did not get. And while the police did have a fair amount of evidence to link him to it, it was all circumstantial at best. And it was also deemed inadmissible in court as they had failed to read him his Miranda rights at the time of arrest.
Oh, fuck me, people. How dumb do you have to be?
And it
Put
was
handcuffs
also...
on criminal, read Miranda rights. There's 2 steps! In arresting someone!
It was also argued that they actually had no probable cause to have arrested him in the first place at the time.
I'm not even American and I know the Miranda rights.
To be fair, you know, this whole time I thought it was Miranda, like the name, like Miranda.
Wait.
No, it's Mer, M-E-R.
I thought it was Miranda.
It's this. So did. Well, it is
It's
said
pronounced
Miranda.
Miranda.
It is pronounced Miranda.
But it's not
I
the
thought.
name Miranda.
Yeah, I thought it was spelled the same as. It's the same
That's
as
the
the
same.
word perjury. So I thought
PU,
that was
isn't it?
spelled. I thought that was spelled purge. So like you purge yourself of it. No.
No,
It's
P.
It's perjury.
It's P. Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't it PERJURY?
Yeah, I found that out a couple of years ago, but like I was shook when I realized. I was like, wait, what? I thought that it was like purge. But anyway, yes, so he was deemed a free man and the case was thrown out. And anyway, that's the story of the 1982 Chicago Tylenol murders and the reason that medication now has tamper-evident packaging. And it's also probably a new fear that I just gave you, so you're welcome.
Good thing I don't take medication every day.
Whoopsie. Well, just don't take capsules and maybe sniff them first.
I don't know what almonds smell like, Jeramie. What's the point of me sniffing them?
Just go to Coles on your break tomorrow and give them a whiff. Do we know anyone at work that brings almonds with them to work? Can you ask to smell their nuts?
That conversation's gonna go down well. Hey! You have almonds! Can I smell your nuts? Or just walk in and be like, hey, can I smell your nuts? Because knowing me, I would forget to explain the whole almond thing and I would literally just be like, can I smell your nuts?
Still won't be the weirdest thing you've said to someone out of the blue at work.
That's fair.
Or just in general. Oh, while I remember, I better take water.
Take.
I even told Mateo that, who English is his second language, and he still doesn't understand the fact that when you talk about your hair, it is one single being.
Yeah.
So you don't say
hairs.
my hairs are dry, aren't they? It's my hairs. He hasn't figured that out, and I keep saying that, so he keeps referring to his hairs and they. But even he immediately was like, taking water from where? Like stealing it? Which was my thought process too, when he was like, are you taking water? And I'm like, taking it from where? I'm drinking it.
Lol.
But yes, so that's that fun little dive that I went on. We are about to have to wrap this up and go and record a second episode right after it, which is going to be really fun because I'm already like 2/3 of a bottle in. So we're going to be starting off. Woo! And just for something different, I reckon let's give it a go. And at the time you're hearing this, it's too late. But Kirstyn, do you want to just maybe go live on Insta for a bit, see what happens?
I don't know how well it's going to work, but I'm down. It is 10 to 6 at night, so people might be having dinner or something, but like...
There you go, they can watch us while they
dinner
eat.
party.
So, at the time that you're listening to this, it's a bit too late, but in case we decide to do something like this again in future, Kirstyn, where can they find us?
You can stalk us at RF. Oh fuck me! I'm gonna
Kirstyn, you have one job. All right, can I try and do it this week?
Okay,
can I give it a go?
Only if I can do the opening for the next episode.
Oh, all right. Let's give
trade
that a go.
Let's trade season.
Okay, we're mixing things up. Alrighty.
Okay, Jeramie, where can they find us?
All right. So, if you are wanting to stalk us or just, check in, see what we're doing, maybe even slide into our DMs, you can find us on both Instagram and Twitter using the same handle, which is RFIMH Podcast. You can also, if you don't feel like sliding into our DMs, but you want to send us a digital letter,
electronic mail.
A digital letter. You can find us on the old email thing.
The old electronic mail thing.
The digital post office. Our address is rfimhpodcast@gmail.com. And we also have a Facebook page, which is just Rent Free in My Head Podcast. But for consistency's sake, when I set it up, I also made the URL RFIMH Podcast because it just makes it a little bit easier for you. So
such a sweetheart.
Definitely find us there. I regularly share little snippets of video from the recording, and now that we've figured out how to do this via Skype, we might decide to start sharing the full videos somewhere, unedited, because I'm not learning how to edit videos on top of sound. So, you'll get a bunch of extra shit, which we might do that as a paid thing via Patreon. if there's an interest in it, which if there is, hit us up because like
Also,
we're down
let us
to
know
do
about
that.
merch, because someone gave me the idea of making car stickers, and I low-key really want to do it.
I'd be down with that. That's cool.
Right? You don't have a car,
That's
but
cool.
I do, so like I could advertise for us.
No, but I can stick it on like my best friend's
parents'
car, my
car.
boyfriend's car, just random cars that I
Yeah,
walk past.
That's like a little bit not
It's kind of
cool,
vandalism,
but,
but
like, you do.
but you know, just gotta get our name out there a bit. But yes, let us know your thoughts. That's where you can find us. And if that's not good enough for you, you can also find, I don't know if Kirstyn's down with this, but you can find me on my personal social, which is literally just my name, Jeramie Gage. So secretive. Wow.
Oh. I really don't fucking post much on Instagram, and it's mainly of my face when I think I look pretty. But it's at So Kirsty Lee.
So go for that. We're gonna wrap this up. Oh, does that mean I'm also doing the close? Oh, cool. I like this.
Oh yeah, because I'm doing the opening in the next episode, so you can do the close.
Okay, cool. I like. So yes, thank you for joining us today, and we hope that, like our stories, we have taken up some space in your minds rent-free, because we ain't paying rent. We're just gonna keep squatting here. And we hope that you will join us again next week, or if you were lucky enough to find out about it at the time, you may already have caught a sneak peek at that on Insta Live. Either way, we outie. We will see you next week. Well, we won't see you next week. We won't even hear you next week. You will hear us next week, and you're welcome in advance.
Catch you later, alligators.
Bye.
You had the opportunity to say in a wild crocodile and you didn't, and I'm so disappointed in you.